So, anyway, they had the big wedding. As I predicted, it was so rude, so awful.
It was torture to the guests.
First of all, Scott Einziger, our producer of the E! Show, he's now in Hawaii, I guess. He took off on his honeymoon.
Going to be there 2 weeks.
Yeah. Scott Einziger. And I'm looking at this picture of him getting married. Someone gave me photos.
Oh, yeah?
I'm saying, he's a nice-looking guy. Wife, very pretty.
Let me see. I've never
he needed
seen
this?
her.
She's cute. She's
I
good.
don't know who the lovely Mrs. Einziger is.
She's good. She's good. She's good.
Scott looked great when he came out. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, he didn't wear his glasses. He wore contact lenses.
And he stood up straight.
And who's that guy? This guy right here.
He used to work on our old on the interview show. I forget his name.
I don't know him.
Was he in a wedding party?
Show Robin the picture of Scott's wife. You can't really see too much.
Who is the photographer here?
Mel Schrinker. All right, so
don't hire him to do your.
No, I don't know who. I don't know. It's a fine photographer. It's just that it's like a crowd of people there.
Wow, I didn't even recognize Scott.
Looks handsome, right?
Yeah, who is that guy?
Hey, but anyway, concentrate on this, Robin. I want to tell you stories.
All right.
So as I predicted, the wedding started at. First of all, you got to understand something. Forget about old people. Old people cannot take weddings where they serve the dinner at midnight. That's what they call the dinner for at midnight. The wedding is supposed to take place Saturday night. Black tie. Can you imagine? This guy's not royalty. Neither is his wife. A black tie affair. They're asking people to go out and rent tuxedos. Now, really old people, like his grandmother, his grandfather, his aunts and uncles, these people can't stay up all night for a stupid wedding. While it's an important wedding to Scott Einziger, it is not important to everyone else. To the rest of us, it's like, hey, isn't it great? Scott's getting married. I wish him a lot of luck, and God bless him. Let him go off into hell.
You can't tell who the groom is from these pictures, because everybody's all dressed up.
Yeah, but Robin, everyone was as dressed as the groom.
Yeah.
This is a tremendous inconvenience for people. You know, weddings have to be made for the convenience of your guests. You're there to throw a party for your guests. The women think, oh, my God, this is my big moment. I want it to look like Lady Di and Charles coming down the... Please, hoofa, use your brain. Was it obnoxious or what?
Well, I mean,
come on.
It was a good wedding, but, we didn't... Well,
so listen. Yeah, take a guess what time they actually took their nuptials, the actual time they got married.
All right.
It was called for 8:45, which is way too late.
I would say they probably got started around 9:15.
9:30.
Oh, my God.
It was around there.
Between 9:15 and 9:30, okay? Okay?
Because they always go off late.
I told you it would go off late. What time did they serve dinner? So when did you eat dinner?
Main course.
Midnight?
1:10.
Are you kidding me?
1:10.
I would have been out of my mind. I would have been out of the meeting. I would have been out of the reception.
Of course you would have been. And the point is, you had a whole bunch of guests sitting there. Now, you got to say something. There's a lot of people who have children that you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
In other words, children don't come to these weddings.
Like Baba Booey left baby Jackson at home.
Yeah.
And you got to get up for the baby. I saw Gary on Sunday. He goes, oh, I'm so tired. I go, what happened? Baby woke up at 6. His wife made him get up and be with the baby while she slept.
Oh.
I said, dude, you are an a-hole. I said, you got to start talking to your wife. This guy gets up for a living every day.
Never wakes up without an alarm clock.
What is going on with you? And he can't talk to his wife about it. She yells at him.
She didn't yell at me.
I'm so glad you're in hell.
She just said, my wife said, you want the 6 o'clock feeding, or do you want to get him when he wakes up? So I was drunk.
And you should have said, I don't want either.
I was drunk, so I said, I'll get him when he wakes up. But I should have taken a 6 o'clock feeding because it's 10 minutes long. Then you go back to sleep. Instead, I was up at 8 o'clock.
Why are you taking any feeding? Do you know I never fed my kids once?
You never?
Ever.
First of all, is your wife breastfeeding?
Yeah. Well, partially.
Then why are you feeding?
No, she's, she's breastfeeding, and we're also giving a bottle.
Don't her breasts hurt?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Does she have to relieve her breasts?
We're weaning.
Oh, are you?
She's trying to cut back.
We're cutting back.
I never once got up and fed the kids.
Never.
Never. Zero. Even when we didn't have help.
I don't believe you never did it.
Call my wife. I'm telling you.
You never fed
if I
your
did
kids
it,
ever?
I only did it like once or twice to see what it felt like. And then it wears off. It's boring. And you say to your wife, you stay in bed and you say to your wife, you know what, honey? I get up every day. Your job is to take care of the kid. You're not working right now. Your job, you're working. You're working with the kid. I get up early.
What is going to happen when Gary's wife goes back to work?
Gary's life will become even more of a hell. And I showed Gary. My wife, we're sitting by my pool, right?
She's not at work.
I'm sitting with Gary and Ratso on a Sunday, talking to them about something. My wife walks in. We're in the middle of working. She brings the baby. And she goes, the kids want to go swimming. Would you watch the kids while I go? I said, Allison, see, I'm sitting by a pool. When a person is sitting by a pool, it looks like they're having fun. I said, but this is not fun.
You have to explain to her how this is not fun.
You got to teach your wife. I go, I am working now. Kids and work don't go together.
You can't watch them and work.
Leave.
You didn't throw her out.
Howard snapped at her, and I couldn't figure out whether Allison just was laughing at him and ignored him and walked away, or whether this is just regular fare around there.
Of course I snapped. I got limited time for nonsense.
He told her to leave, and then she left.
That's all. And I turned to Gary and go,
that's embarrassing.
That's how you talk to your wife.
Humiliation.
Sure.
And that's wrong.
Of course it's
wrong. You don't snap at her in front of Baba Booey and Ratso.
I only did it so Gary could learn how to talk to his wife.
You're making an example.
I'm the king of mine castle.
Get away from mine pool.
Yeah, get out of the pool. I am relaxing now.
Of course, 5 minutes later, it was us who left the pool.
Yeah, well, the kids came in and we left.
He did make his point.
He did. You didn't see me feeding them.
Man, oh, man,
now,
I can't believe that.
Let me tell you something.
Napping.
And my wife, God love her, she got minimal amount of work to do. Once or twice, she's got to be involved with the kids. Let her handle it.
All I know is, the one thing I will say in your wife's defense is you couldn't possibly replace her yourself.
No.
You have no idea what she does.
Let me tell you something. I could hire someone for about $100,000. Pay them way too much. They could do 3 times more than my wife.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
If she left
Two
today
people, $50,000
and you had to replace her, you wouldn't even know what you needed.
You know what? It's every man for himself. I'll get through it. I know what she doesn't do. That's one thing I can tell you. I'll hire someone who can think of things to do. All right, listen to me. You seriously? I saw the way you were with your wife. I met Baby Jackson for the first time yesterday.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
And how is he with the wife?
Oh, his wife's got him trained.
He's jumping through hoops.
He's jumping through hoops.
Figured.
She comes out. So Gary's now got a family man's Jeep, you know.
Oh, yes, he got the
Jeep
car.
is loaded with the baby seat and all the crap in the back, right? So the wife comes out and she says to him, hey.
She's snapping at him.
Hey, listen to this. She goes like this. Hey, I thought you were supposed to be the man. This is a man's Jeep and load the car up with all this stuff. Guess who ended up having to load it?
Oh.
Now, personally, I would have taken her like this. I said, I'm going to tell you something. You see, it's Sunday. This is my one day off. I have to work today with Howard. I'm going to tell you something. I busted my balls right in front of everyone. I would have dressed her down. I would have said, listen, you had to lift 3 things and stick them in the car, and you're going to sit here and bust my balls? Get the hell in the car. Go home. Get yourself home. I would have.
You're looking in the car and you see Gary stripped of all his men.
Yeah, I mean, and Gary, and then she stands there.
I was stripped before I got the car.
And then Gary's like asking permission. He goes, why don't you hold the baby and I'll hold the bags so I can go, get the car set up.
Please.
Then the wife comes and she stands there. God love your wife. She's got you trained like a puppy dog. She's standing there holding Baby Jackson. And Baby Jackson's no lightweight.
No, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. Beautiful boy. And she's holding him. And she's standing by the car seat. I see what's going on right away. I size her up in 2 seconds. Baba Booey's in a coma.
Oh, I could tell this right away.
He's standing there, and she's going to hold the baby until Baba Booey comes over and sticks the kid in the baby seat.
She's not moving.
She don't move. And I'm watching this battle. I see the battle going on.
There's a power play here.
There was a battle going. Did I catch this?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, no one knows what's going on. I'm watching. I'm watching to see Baba Booey. And what happens? He's back there. He's talking to me. He's avoiding. He don't want to put the kid in the car seat. Because I know. Putting a kid in the car seat could take hours.
It wrenches your back.
You got to wrench your back. It's a real pain in the ass.
And my wife whole rap is that, since she wrenches her back all week, can I wrench mine on the weekend?
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. And she's standing there and just standing there and standing there. She has nothing to do.
going to stand there.
And finally, Baba Booey gets over and puts the kid in the car.
He doesn't look at her and say, "What is wrong with you?" Get the kid in the car. He goes over and does his
Let me
job.
tell you something about Baba Booey. Baba Booey gets no sleep now. Baba Booey has no life, and I love it. Baba Booey used to have the perfect life. I used to say it to him. I warned him 900 times. I said, "You have got some deal going. You get to have sex with all the girls on this show.
You're living in Manhattan.
You're living in Manhattan.
Have a great apartment."
Yeah, I said, "You're in love with Mary now." I said, "You'll get over it. And you know what? She'll hang in there and just be your girlfriend for a while, and you could cheat on her."
It used to be, should I go to the screening of Planet Hollywood, the Knick game, or just go and hang out in Central Park in Sheep's Meadow and look at the women in their bikinis?
Or go bike riding or do whatever you want.
Right,
Gary
right.
can't go bike riding now because his wife has decided
How
that...
many nights a week did he go out? I mean, we used to
He
scream
out every
at him
night.
because he was always groggy and had no voice.
Never had a health problem, nothing. Now he's on 3 different medications for headaches. And you should see, we're sitting by my pool. I look at Gary, and I'm watching him, and all of a sudden there's blood trickling out of his nose.
No.
Yeah. So I said, "Gary, let's stop for a second. There's blood trickling out of your nose." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "You know, all the medications I'm on, I think they dry me out." And he's blowing his nose, and blood is all over the place. I mean, there's blood on the napkin.
You're going to explode.
I personally think I have a brain tumor.
Yeah. He is having the worst
This pressure's
nightmare.
going to kill you, Gary.
I can't wait to get married.
What?
I can't wait to get married.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
You know, Howard usually embellishes. He hasn't said one thing wrong yet.
Exactly what happened.
I wish I could say.
I was watching that battle of the baby seat, the car seat, and I just said, I got to tell you something. I love the whole thing because I love watching guys who ruin their lives, and guys I've warned. And I said, I didn't just. I said to Gary, here is what's going to happen in your life. It's all going to end.
Yeah.
Everything that you can do is going to end. Stepping out of the house, and Mary's gorgeous. I'm going to tell you something. I saw her. She looks better than ever.
She also was very smart about it. The whole time they were dating, "Oh, go out with your friends.
Yeah.
No problem."
I told you, and I said to him, "That's all going to stop?" And he said, "No, it's not. Mary's not like that." I said, "She is like that. She doesn't know she's like that. Wait till you have a baby."
Oh.
You know what my favorite room in the house is now?
Yeah.
Take a guess.
Basement.
No.
What?
Bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go hide in there.
Long, like 20 minutes. I sit in the
But what concerns me is you're on the medications now, and your nose is running with blood.
And this is early.
And it's all because you got to get your wife in line. And I'm going to tell you something.
This is early in their relationship, Howard. This isn't a long time in, and he's already cracking under the pressure.
Wait till they decide to have a second kid, which they will. I've told them not to, but they will, because this is all going on again. And let me say something. Robin was asking me this last week when we had the same discussion. She says, "What is the ideal wife? What is the person? If sexist, be sexist if you want. Tell me what it is you want. Let me hear.
What is it you guys want?"
I made a list.
Oh, wonderful.
All right? I made a list, and I'd like to read it to you.
Oh,
now.
go ahead. I'm interested. I'm all ears, and so is every other woman out there.
Let's call this How to Be a Good Wife.
Well, let's not call it How to Be a Good Wife. What would be a good wife to you?
Okay. First thing, have a dinner ready.
Oh.
Plan ahead. No. Plan ahead.
Plan ahead for what?
Plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal on time. You don't have to be last minute. Was I yelling at my... You know what? I yelled at my wife a good half hour after you left. I said, Gary and Ratso are over, and there was no appropriate lunches for me to serve these guys. Man, I'll guarantee you come over next weekend, there'll be lunch.
I don't
deal.
understand how Allison deals with you at all.
Because she's got it made.
Every 10 minutes
All
in
she
that
has
house.
to do is pick up the phone and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Butcher, can you send over a few cold cuts for my..."
What are you, her daddy?
No. I'm a guy who works his balls off so she can be happy.
What are you yelling and snapping for?
Otherwise, you end up like Baba Booey.
He wants food.
I want food. I want the things I like.
Oh, boy.
You got to order the food, too?
Go on. What else is on the list?
Prepare yourself.
For what?
Number 2, take 15 minutes to rest so that you'll be refreshed when he arrives. Touch up your makeup.
Yeah.
Put a ribbon in your hair. Be fresh looking.
That's great.
Your man has been with a lot of work-weary people. Be a little bit gay, a little more interesting. His boring day may need a lift.
Oh, geez.
Really, man. Number 3, clear away the clutter.
Oh, tidy up the house?
Make one last trip through the main part of the house just before your husband arrives. Gathering up school books, toys, paper, etc.
I can see it now. Come on, kids. Daddy's about to come home. Let's pick up our toys.
Run a dust cloth over the tables.
Now you're getting crazy.
You know what? And your husband will feel like he's reached a haven of rest and order. And it'll give you a lift, too. And let me tell you something. My mother did all this stuff for my father.
Remember, girls, it's all for him.
Right. Prepare the children.
What are they supposed to do?
Take a few minutes to wash the children's hands and faces, if they're small. Comb their hair. And if necessary, change their clothes. They're little treasures, and Daddy would like to see them playing the part of little treasures. And see that things are in control. Don't kid yourself. You come home and see your kids a mess.
Is this what you have at home?
Yeah. No, I don't have it, but I'm working toward it.
Well, after 20 years of marriage, you're finally going to get her in shape.
Minimize all noise.
Minimize noise?
Minimize all noise. Kids can be trained. At the time of your husband's arrival, eliminate all noise.
Throw them out of the house if they're right.
No. I'm not talking about kids. Eliminate the noise of the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher, the vacuum.
Oh, in other words, none of that stuff should be still being done when you
right.
Prince get
Try to encourage the children to be quiet. Be happy to see your man. Greet him with a warm smile and be glad to see him. You want to keep your marriage together, this is what you do. Baba Booey would run home.
Be happy
so
and here's some don'ts.
For Baba Booey to do, he'd be happy to come home.
Here's some don'ts. Don't greet him with problems or complaints. Don't complain if he's late for dinner. Count this as minor compared with what he might have gone through that day. Make him comfortable. Have him lean back in a comfortable chair.
Where'd you read this?
I'm not reading this. You told me to make a list.
You got this out of a book.
No, you're nuts.
I tell you didn't make
Have a cool, warm drink ready for your husband.
That's not a wife. You got to say Bernard.
Arrange your man's pillow. Offer to take off his shoes. Would you run home?
I know exactly where this came from, you plagiarizer.
Where is it from?
It's from the Happy Homemaker.
That's right. What's the difference where it came from? It makes sense.
I knew you didn't write this.
It's from the 1950s high school home economics workbook.
Nothing wrong with that. Keep going.
All right. Speak in a low, soft, soothing, and pleasant voice. Allow him to relax and unwind. Man, I'd run home.
Great. I'm thinking about getting married now.
And listen to your man. You may have a dozen things to tell him, but the moment of his arrival is not the time. Let him talk first.
And now bark and roll over.
Make the evening his. Yes. Never complain if he does not take you out to dinner or to other places of entertainment. Instead, try to understand his world of strain and pressure.
When he hits you, take the punch.
Sometimes your man needs to be home and relax.
All right, well, maybe that one's a little off.
Try to make your home a place of peace and order where your husband can renew himself in body and spirit.
Who cares if he comes home?
Well, yeah, I noticed you're not married. But anyway, seriously, Baba Booey, you're in bad shape, pal.
If you get married...
When there's blood dripping out of your nose, you're in bad shape.
And you've only been married how long now?
53 years in July.
No, but I know what Baba Booey's problem is. Seriously, like they got married, and real quick they decide to have a kid.
Try to delay that.
Yeah, but Baba Booey didn't want to be an old man when Baby Jackson plays baseball.
That's right.
But now, what his life is... But now his life is, hey, get up early at 6 in the morning. Don't go out because you got to watch Baby Jackson. I'm not going to do this alone. You've got to help me. And he's miserable.
And you know what my how's going to be? What? I'm going to say, hey, Baby Jackson, I'm still a young dad. Let's throw the ball around. I go, I'm not interested.
He'll be gay or something, you know?
Right.
He'll be addicted to drugs.
He'll be like, I want to hang out with Mom and wear her dresses.
Well, I got some news for you guys.
Hey, you little bastard. I worked my ass up and I'm waiting to play ball with you.
Did you think that your parents considered you attractive children?
No.
You, Gary?
Yeah, you know, I guess they're, biased.
Mine didn't.
You sure? You sure they thought you were attractive?
Well, you mean, do they tell me I'm attractive, or would they say different in a poll?
When you were a baby, did they find you attractive?
Well, they didn't send any pictures
of
any contest.
There's an article in the paper today that says parents, especially moms, respond to their children differently depending on whether they're pretty or not.
Yeah, well, Gary was no doll. But here's the point about it.
There's a whole study, though, that says that it affects your life because your mom treats you in a different way. She doesn't give you as much attention.
Wow.
And if you're ugly, she considers being with you a burden.
Wow.
And everything you do is considered, some kind of a problem as opposed to, oh, isn't that cute? Look at how smart he is. It's like, wow, that's incredible.
Who are you staring at before?
I don't know. I was working you into a fit. But I'll tell you something. Believe me, Gary, you were a hairy baby. Your mother
didn't find you a pleasant child.
But let me tell you something. You're on your road to ruin. I see it, man. And I know what you're going through. I empathize with what you're going through.
Very happy. I really am.
I know.
And your
I saw
nose
it.
is bleeding.
Your nose is full of blood. So anyway, Einziger has this wedding, and of course Gary had to get up at 6 in the morning to feed baby Jackson.
This is before the wedding. I thought this was Sunday morning after.
This was
Sunday morning after.
Oh.
Did you?
I got it at 2:30.
Yeah, so you had 4 hours sleep. And what happened? Baby Jackson, of course, didn't want to go back to sleep.
Right, so then my wife got up and I went back to sleep for
At 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you stayed up and probably had a headache and had to sit there with the kid. And what did you do while the kid was up for 3 hours?
Well, you know what was really funny? Remember how, like, you were saying the other day that your father never did this?
Yeah.
And Tom was saying, you know, how his mom raised 8 kids?
Yeah.
So I got up at, I got up early, and I'm running around, I'm feeding the baby, and my father-in-law is sitting there reading the paper.
Yeah.
And I know he's looking at me like I'm like some sort of a pussy.
Yeah, you're like an idiot. Your father-in-law never did
He's
it.
reading the paper, and he's almost like, I thought he was going to turn out to me and say, why don't you go wake up your wife?
Yeah, I mean, what's your problem?
I can't believe that the guy gets
your wife gets to sleep late every day or sleep whenever baby Jackson gets up.
She goes down for a nap when he does?
No, she gets up at 6 o'clock every morning.
But she can go back to sleep.
Yeah, when he takes a nap.
Sometimes he doesn't go back to sleep, but when he takes a nap, that's time to do the housework, because you can't do housework, I don't know. That's what
she says.
I don't know.
I got to put a video camera around the house.
Just to check her work. You know what I would do if I was you? I'd get a hotel room every day and just cop some sleep after you're done here and then go home. That's what I would do.
You didn't do it, though. You really didn't get this when you went home.
No, I did.
Allison first had the first child.
I sure
did. There wasn't a lot of help.
And you know what I did? I hired help. I said, you better get help or it's the end of our marriage. I'm not going through this. I said, I'm not going to work my ass off. And you know what it was? We just fight. I wouldn't do anything. I would just sit there and yell at her.
Oh, so it'd just be a big fight.
Because she would yell at me. She'd be whining. I'm tired, the baby. And I said, you know what? You wanted to have a baby. Leave me alone. This is what you want to do housework. I don't want to do it. She'd be like, can't you go shopping? I go, no, I'm too famous. I can't be seen in a supermarket. Go shopping. Well, you watch the baby. I go, I'm not watching the baby. I got to get ready for my next day's show. I got a full-time job. I don't know what you were thinking. I told you, I have to have help on Sundays.
I know.
I have to have help 24 hours a day with Allison. Allison can't handle it. She's incapable of handling 3 children. She just didn't know it. Your wife's totally incapable. I see what's going on. She's depending on you too much. And she's being stubborn. She don't want help. She don't want to have to see a stranger in her house.
We're getting help.
You better get a stranger in the house.
Yeah, they won't be a stranger after a certain amount of time.
You come to love strangers. You know what?
After
there isn't a place I walk in my house where I don't have someone observing me. And you know what? At first it used to bother me. Like, oh, gee, I want to eat. Now I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I thought about that the other day. There's people all over your house.
There isn't a room that I go into that there isn't people. And you know what? Thank God.
There.
Because I would have done an OJ on Allison years ago. Because she can't handle anything. Look out. She used to be like, I can't go shopping. You watch the baby. I need some rest. I want to exercise. You're going to go out and exercise? I want to exercise. I was like, you want to exercise? Not my problem.
We got a problem.
It's not my problem. I told you I don't want to be involved in child care.
I don't think that you can tell Gary this all you want.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's ever going to go home and say anything.
Hey, I'm helping him. That's all I'm doing. I as a friend, am trying to help him.
You're just making him more aware of how bad his problems are and that he's never going to do anything about it.
Well, maybe it'll help him with his headaches and stuff because at least he'll know He'll know what to blame things on and stop masking it. He'll know he's unhappy and why, and maybe his headaches will disappear. Anything to help the guy. The guy's blood, he has blood dripping out of his nose and he don't even know it.
Yeah, but it already sounds like, Mary doesn't even have to yell. She just says, you're doing this, and he does it.
He's hop, too.
I am hop, too.
You're Gunga Din.
I'm hop, too.
Hey, Gunga Din, go put the baby in the car seat. And you should have been like me. Car seat? I used to go to my wife. I put the baby in the car seat, and she'd say, you have to buckle it in. And I'd say, how do you do that? And I just couldn't do it. And I go, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
That is the absolute truth, because I saw him pull that move.
Yeah.
How many times can he get away with it? He
will never learn. Every time he had to do it, he just couldn't get it buckled.
Yep.
Throw the kid in the car and...
Yeah, and then she'd go, well, if we short stop, the kid will go flying forward. You got to buckle him in. I go,
well,
I don't know.
Then you do it.
Yeah, I go, then you do it if you don't like the way I do it. I think it's fine. I think the kid's fine.
I can't do it that fast.
Don't get all concerned. I'm telling you, I pulled every shtick. What was it? We were over the house. I pulled the move. You said, that was a pretty good move. I did something real good.
I thought it was when you yelled at Allison at the pool.
No, I did better stuff than that.
Gary's got to stay with you and learn.
You need to take him into your home for a while.
Yeah, you need help.
He needs an apprenticeship.
I got to call my wife now. Tell her I need to be at your house for a week.
Yeah, just I'll give you lessons. Just observe.
We're doing work.
Yeah. Talk about avoidance. Because you're gonna get work. Then you're gonna get back pain and you're gonna get everything else.
You know what you did, Gary? You went home and you did too good a job. You can change Baby Jackson's diapers.
Right.
You can change his clothes.
Never
you
do
can
it
do all
once.
that.
I changed the Duke diaper maybe 3 times. Period. That was the end of it.
And then you do it so bad that the baby really gets messed up. You know
what you do? You wipe real hard. The kid gets a rash. They'll never let you touch the kid again. Super hard. Get hemorrhoids. 2-year-old with a hemorrhoid.
Or you turn the clothing around like this, like you don't know how to get them in it.
Yeah.
And they just grab it from you and take it over.
Yeah. You got to mellow out. You're being too good a father.
You don't need to be there for the kid like that.
Yeah. You're a little too much there.
Jackson won't appreciate it.
I'm sorry, what?
Ralph needs to be quiet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, be quiet, man. It's nothing worse than a single guy sitting in the room with
I don't mind getting it in stereo, but I'm getting it in quad.
Yeah. Be like Ralph's dad.
Leave.
No, but you know, like you know what I'm saying. I love my kids and everything else, but there's got to be otherwise you're going to lose your sanity. I know what it is.
Well,
I was telling Gary, hey, I went for a bike ride on Sunday and I went Saturday. He was like, oh my God, and he's jealous, and I love that he's jealous of me.
I do have to say, I mean, I was at Howard's house from noon to 6:45 yesterday, and I believe the total amount of time of interaction with his children was under 3 minutes.
Right.
Well, I don't think that's anything to emulate. But
Gary was jealous. I got it worked out.
You could work it into 10.
Yeah, and it was enough. The kids know I love them. When I see those 3 minutes, man, I make that quality time. I kiss them. I love them.
Those are Kodak moments.
Yeah.
Those 3 minutes.
They're beautiful moments.
How much do they want to see you anyway?
They don't. They're busy. You got to teach your kids to be independent. That you coddle that baby Jackson.
No wonder they used to take me over when I'd come. There was somebody to pay attention to.
Yeah. So don't worry about anything, man. You just got to mellow out with that.
I'm
Get
not
your
worried.
wife under control.
I'm not worried.
No, because you're really unhappy because it's like, I know he wants, in the worst way, he wants to go bike riding. He wants to do certain things. His wife won't let him because she says, hey, when am I going to go bike riding?
No, I'm going bike riding.
You know what he's going to do?
When's Father's Day?
My wife used to do that to me.
He's going to get one of those seats now that they have for the kids you can put on the bike.
Yeah.
And Gary will be that father with the baby on the bike.
I'm actually trying to get one of those, what do they call them, those joggers.
Yeah.
You know, so I could take the kid and jog with him.
Oh, man.
See, he's going to be one of those
A baby
guys.
jogger.
Oh, God. Gary, that's a mistake.
What, you think I'd look like a homo jogging with the baby?
Don't even question that. Once you do it, then your wife's always going to expect it. I'm being serious with
You
you.
see those fathers with those three-wheel things running?
Yeah.
Then they have the special seats and the little baby sitting there with a helmet on the
great.
bike.
Dude, that's a real manly ride. You should lose lots of weight doing that. What are you, a coolie? Oh, you want me to ride you over?
I got my kid in a rickshaw.
Yeah. Build railroad. No, you got to work out that whole thing, man. And don't have any more kids. You've had enough.
I don't know if you can handle it.
Yeah, your wife can. I saw for myself. I sized her up in 3 seconds. She's another princess. Trust me.
She does a great job.
I got a princess, too.
Do you have dinner waiting for you when you get home?
Hell no.
No, my wife cooks every night.
Oh, she
I
does?
don't know that it's waiting for me, but...
But you do get a nice hot meal every
Oh,
day.
yeah, definitely.
No, you deserve
She's a
it.
real good cook.
You deserve it. You watch Jackson while she cooks?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, great. That's a fun day.
Hey, parenting is a two-person job.
The nose is starting to bleed.
Two-person
It is.
job.
No, it's not bleeding. It's running.
He was sitting there while I was talking. Every minute he was like... He can't even breathe.
Maybe you have an embolism.
If you're lucky.
You can stay in the hospital and get away.
So anyway, Einziger has his wedding. Oh, I got to take a break.
I'm going to hear about this wedding yet.
I got to go blow my nose.
You do. There's blood coming out, isn't there?
Flop up.
So how did Mary and the baby get to your house?
She picked up Gary in the car.
Oh, okay.
She had the car. They dropped off Gary.
I see.
And
Going to be picked up like a little kid.
yeah, it's just, you should have seen how pussy-whipped he is now. And this is the guy who had it made, and he knows it, and that's why he's getting all these headaches and stuff. And he knows it.
With the baby.
And it's bad that I'm pointing it out. Maybe I should just shut my mouth because he's really going over the edge.
No, this is good because if I ever get any thoughts of
You're
marriage.
straightening out Ralph.
Yeah.
Huh?
All right.
But I remember he used to be, he had that whole situation under control. He thought Mary was so different.
Yeah.
He sucked him right in.
And he got mad at me once. Cause I'm talking about privately. I pulled him aside and I said, you got to understand what's going to happen. she she's going to crack from the pressure too. He was like, you don't understand, man. I love her. And then I was like, yeah, okay, all right. Pop, 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 pop. I love her. She's great. And
But he was always telling me how cool she was,
Yeah.
and that's what made it so great.
Yeah.
Because she put no pressure on. He had the same life. There
Yeah.
were no orders. Nothing had changed. He was the same Gary with Mary as before Mary.
it's a slow process. It's almost like cancer. It comes on slow,
And you don't even realize
and you
it's
don't know it.
happening.
And then when you're in the middle of it,
But when it gets a hold of your stomach, it eats it up real quick.
yeah. He's on 3 different medications. What is it called? What is that stuff called again? Ampicillin?
So that's,
Amoxicillin.
amoxicillin is for the earache. I've got naproxen. No, what's it called?
Naproxen.
Naproxen.
Don't you think maybe your wife on a Sunday could have let you sleep because you're on all these medications, and maybe we would help you get better?
Yeah, did you tell her you had gone to the doctor?
I thought
Oh, yeah,
does she realize that you need rest?
She thinks it's normal that you should be taking all these pills?
I don't know. No,
Go for it, dude. You're in great shape. Get a note from your doctor and give it to Mary. Maybe she'll
Yeah,
lighten up.
maybe he can schedule you some nap time.
Yeah.
You guys make it sound a lot worse than it is.
You got to do what I did when I used to have bad backs, and every minute I'd be whining about it. I'd be like, "Oh, I can't. Oh, please, Allison."
I mean, the truth of the matter
And
is,
then you know what I used to do? I used to go in my room and have to lock the door and lay down on the floor and like rest my back and my head, and that way I got to watch TV uninterrupted.
That's what I was going to say. That's when he was watching
the
television.
truth of the matter is,
You don't evoke enough sympathy.
for the last 2 weeks, I mean, I haven't done anything around the house because I've been just getting into bed with these headaches.
Yeah, good.
And then I shook them. I'm back to work.
Yeah.
But I did shake. She did help me out while I was shaking.
On
her
3
head.
different medications with blood running out
Yeah,
of
he
his
hasn't
nose.
taken anything. He's medicated.
Yeah. All right, anyway, let me come back. I'll take some phone calls, and also I'll tell you about this Einziger wedding.
Okay.
And that kid's coming in, too, right? Richie from the Mary Tyler Moore Show?
That's right.
The little kid?
Little Richie
Yeah.
from Dick Van Dyke?
He's going to come in and say hi to us.
Wow.
We're going to take a look at him, see what he looks like now. See if he grew up cute. We'll be back right after these words. Who does this?
This is White Zombie.
They're good. I didn't used to like them, but I've been listening to them lately. They're pretty good.
Their new stuff's good, too.
Yeah, they're good. White Zombie. That guy's name is Rick Zombie or something?
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie. Wears a big white hat. You can't see his face.
Did he change his name or was he born zombie?
I believe he took on that stage name.
You think?
Rob Zombie? I don't know. I think his parents said, hey, let's name him Zombie.
Cool.
Because he'll be a cool rock star when he grows up. He can be a white zombie. Anyway, it's sort of like a Chip Z'Nuff. I think he changed his name, too, for Enough's Enough. Chip Z'Nuff.
Now they're not doing so good, but he still got the name.
So anyway, Scott Einziger had that obnoxious wedding. That I love Einziger, and I think he's a great guy and everything, but his wife got carried away, and they made everyone wear tuxedos, which costs a fortune and is inconvenient for the guests. You know, I believe in...
at Ganges tux, and I'm thinking...
Want me to tell you about that?
There's no reason for him to be...
Want to hear a funny story about that?
Plus.
Okay.
Oh, it's so bad.
Ganji had to go buy a tux. He doesn't even know this. He had to go rent a tux, rather, for Einziger's wedding.
Yeah.
Ganji's this fat intern that we have. So, who thinks he's good looking? But obviously he's not, because no girls go after him. Aren't you shocked he can't get a girl?
I am really shocked. You know, I was just thinking, I used to get girls off the show with no tools. We weren't even on TV.
And you know what? He's a better looking guy than
we
you.
weren't even on TV yet. You know what I mean? I mean, now Ganji's been on television. He's been on the E! Show. He's been on some of our live shows. I mean,
You know what, Gary, but we
and
have
you're
to
so
be-
much more popular now.
We
I know.
have to be honest. Gary exercised no quality control. He was strictly a volume man.
Yeah.
And Ganji somehow seems to get stopped because the first girl who comes up to him isn't a raving beauty.
Right, well,
Yeah.
you got to wade through a lot of...
Yeah, but he can't even get the... He can't even get the pigs.
He doesn't have a rap.
He's had girls come up here and he's taken them to lunch on you, and he still won't close the deal because that's not a girl who's good enough.
He
for
had
him.
he had this one girl. She was real cute. She came up here. I don't know if you remember her.
Yeah.
And he went to her house one weekend, and he said he was all bummed out because he thought the only reason she was interested in him was because of the show. I'm like, big deal.
Yeah, and he says that he meets these girls and then they become friends. When it turns out we've interviewed the girls, you know, this is off the air. Girls say, hey, I was kind of interested in him. He's kind of cute, but, you know, he became such a good friend. He didn't make a move.
Yeah. He doesn't want them. He feels that he
No, he wants them.
You think so?
He told me he does.
Really? Because I keep getting this impression he thinks that Tori Spelling should be his.
No. He's giving that up. He can't get a girl. He has no rap.
He has no rap, and he just Doesn't make the move.
Right.
He hangs out and talks.
So, Ganji, you want to hear everyone goofed on you at have you heard about this?
No, I haven't, actually.
Okay. So, Ganji has to go get a tuxedo, and he put it off to the last minute, of course. So, he was with two people. Who was he with?
Rich, who works on our computer, and Michelle, who's one of our interns.
Yeah, Rich and Michelle are with him.
All right.
All right. So, they go into the tuxedo store, and, everything is just black and elegant and all this kind of stuff. And there's one tuxedo in the corner that has black, and it has this big white, it was an odd-looking tuxedo. And as Gary had said to, what did you tell Ganji when you saw him at the wedding?
I said, I know you're Italian, but do you have to broadcast it to everyone?
Yeah, right. I mean, it looked like Bozo the Clown.
Yeah.
So anyway, they go into the tuxedo store, and as a goof, Rich says to Ganji, "Hey, Ganji, look at this tuxedo. It's beautiful."
Are you kidding?
And Ganji goes, "You really like it?" And then that girl, Michelle, started to say, "Ganji, you can't wear it." And then Rich kicked her. And she goes, "Yeah, it's really nice." Ganji put it on and took it.
So wrong.
Yeah,
that
so
is
wrong.
Right, because the first thing I noticed in those pictures
That is wrong, Rich. You're
was
dead man.
that Ganji had on the worst tuxedo in the place.
Yeah, he bought it from Bozo the Clown.
So but the lapels were white, his shirt was white, and his tie was white, so it was just this big smear of white on the front of him.
He
like
was
a penguin.
huge.
Yeah.
What am I going to say?
You look like an idiot. You didn't know you looked like an idiot? You hate Rich.
Everybody looked good.
I'm going to kick him when I get out of here.
Yeah, so it was like a big goof.
When you walked in, you thought Ganji had a special function at the wedding or something because he looked so odd.
Yeah, the
He was the only one who didn't look good.
Yeah, right.
The official something.
You know how they say any man can look good in a tuxedo? Not Ganji.
Even Gorilla looked good.
I didn't
Meet any girls at the wedding?
Nah.
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 The whole thing, it was a black tie event, and Ganji wore a white tie.
Right.
And,
that doesn't matter. I mean,
he asked, Richard, and she goes, "Yeah, the white tie looks great. Meanwhile, it looks like crap."
Yeah. They goofed on
just
him.
because the black tie event doesn't mean you have to wear a black tie.
Right.
That's John's rationale.
Well, whatever rationale there was, you had none.
I know. I was just trying
You
to
looked
be
ridiculous.
different. Maybe I did. All right.
Yeah, one thing to look different.
I was trying to look different, I guess,
Look at those pictures, Ganji.
I did. I saw.
Ganji, why do you want to look different? You're a guy who shouldn't try to look different.
You should have blended
I
in.
didn't want. I didn't want
with the wall.
I didn't want just like a black tuxedo. I wanted something different. I was trying to be different.
You did it. Well, you got it.
I did, right? It worked.
We all noticed you.
Hey, see, look, everybody noticed me. I wear a big sign and said everybody noticed.
The only way you would have looked more Italian is if you had red sauce all over it.
You had one of those big ruffles.
Yeah, the pictures must have been taken before the meal.
So Einziger has this stupid wedding late at night. It's just unbelievable.
So late.
Rich should have told you to put flowers in your head.
I don't think I would have gone that far.
That would look good too.
I can't believe Rich of all people would screw with me.
Well, hey, why not?
You're there.
Do I look good or bad?
So evidently, what it was is dinner didn't go off till 1 o'clock in the morning, and old people can't handle it, and young people with kids can't
Weren't
handle
people fainting?
it. I mean, but I don't know. Everyone had I've heard of women. I've only seen this one other time. My cousin did it. She had a midnight wedding. And it's just like, people are passing out and they can't wait to get out the door. And it's kind of sad. It's like...
Instead of enjoying you, they're ready to run.
Well, the whole time you're looking at your watch. Weren't you one of the first people out of there?
Yeah, we left right after dessert was served.
And when you tell me you were leaving and then you saw Ed, the director.
Ed, our old director from the E! Show. I said goodbye to him.
Uh-huh.
And then by the time I got out to my car, his was already pulling up.
He said, hey, he's got the right idea.
But then Jackie, I think, I got up and then said goodbye to everyone. And everyone said, well, we're all going with you.
What time did you go, Jackie?
Was it 2 o'clock? I'm not sure.
2:15. I mean, Jackie's the kind of guy who would hang out till the end of any affair.
Right. And
it was
2
late.
o'clock is late for a wedding. It should have been a real good time and everybody was partying by that time.
It's not only that, because when you eat that late, that makes you sluggish. Instead of eating and then wearing it off and getting the party going. Like you're
too tired to enjoy anything.
You dance a little, but
yeah, it makes for a bad party. People don't understand it.
You gotta dance that crazy horror at 2 a.m.
I heard they had Uber horror.
What was that?
They had an endless horror dance.
A horror-thon.
It went on for like a half an hour.
Yeah.
Hey, that was fun.
And every single one of Einziger's relatives got to get in the chair.
Oh,
be carried around.
All I know is that when Einziger was walking down the aisle because his speech wife, is always nagging him and beeping him every minute on his beeper.
Yeah.
Everybody set off beepers, which was kind of funny. But then Ralph, of course, everyone came up to me and said everyone hates Ralph, and now I know why.
What did Ralph do now?
Because Billy's theory is says that Ralph wants to be a performer and never got to be a performer, so like he tries to make himself like a funny guy at these affairs and sort of like the man who's talked about, and
he has to make a scene.
Yeah, that's the theory going on in you. I never realized that.
I don't know. I had fun. You know, you
had fun, but everyone thought you were an a-hole.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Your fun is to stick out.
Yeah.
What's that?
Your fun is to stick out.
I enjoyed myself.
And Ralph then, the beeper thing was funny, right? And everyone laughed. Then all of a sudden, like this girl who was one of they had 2 best men and 2 best ladies.
Or maids of honor.
Whatever. So one of the maids of honor was giving a really passionate speech about her friend Debbie and how she was destined for Scott and blah, 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 blah. So stupid-ass Ralph finds a PA system, gets a hold of a beeper, and starts beeping over the PA system while she's trying to talk.
Oh.
And, like, it was the kind of thing where people were like, hey, it was funny once.
Oh, yeah, how come everyone in the room's laughing then?
Because you're a retard.
It was funny.
Oh, you.
Then Ralph decided he had to, you know when they go around and take group pictures at every table?
Yeah.
Ralph snuck into every picture, so he's in he ruined their photo album.
No, wait a minute. It wasn't every picture. And
single-handedly wrecked a $20,000 wedding. That's why you don't invite Ralph.
That's
right. And then he's throwing food at everybody.
And then Ralph has a thing about people. Yeah, I heard about it.
Yes, you will.
What happened?
Ralph has a thing where people who are like in a subservient role, like a waiter or a waitress, he looks down on. He treats badly, which is really obnoxious because he's in the service. He's in the service industry.
That's not true.
I heard that you were throwing things at the waiters.
I was not. Who told you
and
that?
I also even heard at Robin's book party, there was some Puerto Rican woman sweeping up, and you kept throwing papers down on the floor for her to sweep up. Is that true?
Kidding?
Tell the truth. Is that the truth? Is that the truth?
No.
No, it must be. It must be.
No, wait a minute. That was funny.
I'm sure she's laughing.
Yeah.
Goofing on the maid.
I wasn't.
What?
He did it right in front of me. He goes, hey, Grillo, watch this. He goes, he comes with your paper, he goes, hey, you missed something.
No,
you missed something.
No, I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
No, what I did is I threw the paper on the floor. You go, watch, you'll notice it. And like, then she turned around. There's another piece of paper. I didn't say pick up the paper.
He's like, what? Hey,
I did not.
You pointed it out to her. Yes, you did. Oh my God, yes, you did.
Liar.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you did.
And Ralph, Ralph thinks he's funny. And what he does is these poor, hard-working people, like the waiters and stuff, he starts throwing food at them.
These are not the people who goof.
Who said I threw food at a
Somebody
waiter?
told me.
He gets on us for acting differently in front of you, but if you were there, he wouldn't have been throwing stuff and being goofy.
No.
But it's only when you're not there.
Well, he wants to be a big star.
That's not true.
Because when I'm there, all he does is hang around me and try to look like he's part of it.
You would have hung around Howard, been real cool and collective, and just chatted with Gary, correct?
That's true.
But instead you were running around throwing stuff in every group picture. I'm like, man, these people are going to hate their photo album.
Liar! You're the one. You egged me on to do it, and so did Robin.
I didn't egg you on at all.
I was laughing.
I didn't egg you on at all.
Funny. Isn't that how to
Robin from the E! Show was laughing that you did it.
Yeah,
but she talked you into it that you were silly enough to do it.
Yeah, well,
which you get what I mean?
You ruined Scott Einzinger's photo album.
In fact, Ganji is the one who talked Ralph into doing the beeper thing during the speech, and then Ganji came over to me, and we laughed that Ralph did it and made a fool of himself.
I think when I'm not there, he thinks he's me.
Yeah. Oh, that's a definite.
And when I'm there, he just hangs around me, hoping that he'll look cool next to me, and then the girls will notice.
I have tried to impress upon Ralph that he is not funny. Many, many times.
I tried to tell Ralph.
And it's hard to get that through to him.
I said to Ralph, these people can never regain this moment. Their wedding and like these pictures.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
And Ralph is in every picture.
Well, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but...
No. I mean, you just wrecked the guys.
At the time, I thought it was funny, and if people are laughing, I'm like,
what?
okay.
They didn't hire you to entertain.
Yeah, Ralph's going to entertain for the night.
Come on, that's funny.
Jackie tried to get some things going, too. Jackie saw the yarmulkes at the wedding, because they were Jews. Yeah. And Jackie acts like he's never heard of yarmulke. Never.
Didn't
it's the first time
this was going to be a thing
in the world. And he was like, so he's running around everyone. He goes, hey, I got an idea. Let's take these things. You don't even know what they're called. Let's take these stupid Jew hats.
I knew someone drinks and he starts to get anti-Semitic.
Yeah, right. And he goes, let's take these hats. We'll all wear them on the show. We'll all wear them on the show as a goof. Sure, we're going to steal all the yarmulkes from the temple. Right away he's defacing Jew. We're going to steal them.
Robbing the temple.
So someone comes up to him and says, Jackie, look inside the yarmulke. It says the wedding of Deborah and Scott Einzinger, May 20th, 1945, Temple Beth Shalom.
Mm-hmm.
It's considered a souvenir.
It's a favor,
You take it with you. And Jackie goes, oh.
ruined his fun.
Oh, we can't steal the yarmulkes. That's no fun. Let's doodle on the Torah. Let's doodle on the Torah. Hey, why don't we put swastikas on the Torah?
You know, he made a sailor hat out of the yarmulke in the temple.
Yeah, I know. Jackie's like, you know, anything different, he's like, what's this? I don't understand. So evidently, it was like one big mess.
Oh, poor Scott. He was so nice.
Jackie did one thing at the wedding that was very funny, but he didn't mean to do it. They were in the middle of giving their speech, and Jackie accidentally passed wind.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on purpose.
No. See, everybody thought that, including my wife. It was so funny. They were making these impassioned speeches that was unbelievable.
Was Scott Einziger making one?
No, but the girl talking to the girl, whatever. And you know those really silly farts that Billy Cuts?
Yeah.
He did the quietest one that I've ever heard him do that you could barely hear, and we lost it. We all lost. But I realized
on you?
the reason that everybody was losing so bad. I just thought it was funny, but they all thought it was real, and it was me, including Nancy. I just thought it was funny because it's so subtle.
Really, you blew a fart in the middle?
Yeah.
How'd you do it? Let's hear it.
So we're sitting there waiting the entire time for them to keep doing it, you know.
Yeah, right.
They were wasting all their content on us. We were just sitting there trying to amuse
This is why you don't have
ourselves.
these
Right.
goofballs at your wedding.
Yeah, I know. It's obnoxious. Wish I'd been a part of that.
We were dying.
They even tried to stick me, like, in the back. They had this one table that we were at that was, like, way in the corner in the back, almost in a different room.
Yeah, they tried to stick you on that one?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what was weird yesterday? So Gary was over at my house, and he was exhausted because, of course, he got no sleep, and he had to wake up and get the baby.
Right.
So we're watching the Knick game, and it's coming down to, like, the last 2 minutes of the game, which is real exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But Gary's wife is coming to pick him up with the baby, and Gary's a mess because he's like, Howard, you know, someone's going to let my wife in. We got to make sure we hear my wife. We got to make sure we hear my wife. I go, Gary, don't worry, I got it under control. Know how to get your wife in. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. Then I start worrying. I go, wait here. We're in the last 2 minutes. His wife shows up. Oh, I have to go upstairs and let her in? I said, Gary, hey, if your wife comes, who's going to let her in the door? Oh, I will. I said, but wait a second. You go up there and let her in the door, and then you come running back down here again. You're never going to get to see the end of the game.
Uh-huh.
So let's hope my wife, I'll get my wife to open the door. Maybe they'll BS for a couple of minutes about the baby.
And you'll get to see the end?
Yeah, because once you go up, see, this is how you get...
That was the move that you pulled that I thought was cool.
And then Gary went, you know, you're so right. If I go up there, I'll never be able to run downstairs and see the end of the game because then she'll yell at me. I said, that's how you got to tune yourself to, you're in a war.
You got a pre-plan.
For your sanity. He was so happy. Saw the end of the game. You were like a human being yesterday. So I was happy to lift your spirits.
He was a guy. He was among guys, and he was a guy.